Welcome the anointed ones. A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. Mark Twain. But here's the part no one talks about. When the truth finally gets its shoes on, it doesn't just walk, it runs. And when it does, those who lied, slandered, and spread deceit about you will have nowhere to hide. Let's get one thing straight. Slander isn't just words, it's an invisible debt. Every false accusation, every twisted narrative, every attempt to assassinate your character is a spiritual invoice with their name on it. And guess what? The universe never forgets unpaid bills. History is littered with examples of people who thought they could rewrite reality with lies. From historical figures to modern-day scandals, one pattern is clear. Truth may take its time, but when it arrives, it hits like a freight train. So if you've ever been lied about, falsely accused, or dragged through the mud for no reason, stay right here, because today we're exposing a truth they don't want you to know. The slanderers always pay, always. And when the bill comes due, it's never pretty. Number 1. The spiritual boomerang. Lies return to their source with interest. Slander is like throwing a boomerang in a storm, except the liar never realizes it's coming back until it knocks them off their feet. The moment someone spreads falsehoods about you, they set a force in motion that they can't control. Lies might rise fast, but they always collapse under their own weight. Why? Because truth has something lies don't. Gravity. A lie fights against reality. It has to be constantly maintained, repeated, and reinforced. But truth doesn't need maintenance, it just is. That's why over time lies become exhausting. The person who started them has to keep dodging inconsistencies, making up new stories and covering their tracks. The more they talk, the more tangled they get. They don't realize it, but every time they repeat the lie, they're tightening the noose around their own credibility. There's also a hidden cost to slander that people overlook. Words are energy. When someone speaks falsehoods about you, they aren't just lying to the world. They're feeding poison into their own life. They're aligning themselves with deception, which means they start attracting deception back into their own reality. Relationships built on lies crumble. Careers built on deception collapse. And reputations built on slander self-destruct. It might not happen immediately, but when it does, it's brutal. And here's the real kicker. Slander has interest. The damage they tried to inflict on you will return to them multiplied. Some call it karma, some call it divine justice. Some just call it life coming full circle. But one thing is certain, nobody escapes it. Lies return home, and when they do, they don't knock. They kick the door down. So if someone tried to destroy your name, don't chase after them. Don't waste energy proving yourself. Just stand firm. The truth is already working in your favor. And the person who thought they could rewrite reality, they're about to learn a very painful lesson. What goes around doesn't just come around, it hits back harder. Number 2. Slander destroys the mind of the liar before it touches the target. Slander doesn't just damage the person it's aimed at. It destroys the mind of the one spreading it first. The moment someone chooses to lie about you, they declare war on their own peace. It might look like they're winning in the short term, fooling people, controlling narratives, and making themselves look better at your expense. But what they don't realize is that the real damage isn't happening to you, it's happening to them. Lying is mental poison. The slanderer now has to live in a reality that isn't real, constantly remembering what they said, who they told, and how to keep the story consistent. That creates stress. That creates paranoia. They start watching their back, afraid that the truth will slip out, afraid that someone will ask a question they can't answer. It eats away at them, even if they pretend it doesn't. And here's where it gets worse. When someone builds their confidence on tearing others down, they become addicted to deception. They start believing their own lies, convincing themselves that their version of reality is the truth. But the mind doesn't work like that. The subconscious always knows when something is false. Over time, it chips away at their mental stability, creating anxiety, restlessness, and inner conflict. They might put on a good show, laughing, smiling, acting like everything is fine. But deep down, they feel it. the weight of the lie pressing on them like a shadow that never leaves. Then, the inevitable happens. Lies demand more lies. They have to keep up the act, spinning more stories, manipulating more people, creating a web so tangled that even they get trapped. The people who once believed them start noticing cracks. The inconsistencies start piling up. They can't keep up with their own fiction. Eventually, they slip. And when they do, it all comes crashing down. So while they thought they were ruining your reputation, they were actually ruining their own mind. The real punishment isn't public disgrace. It's the slow, agonizing decay of their own peace. And that's a prison no one can escape from. Number 3, they sold their integrity for pennies, and that debt collects with interest. When someone spreads lies about you, they aren't just attacking your name, they're making a bad trade. They are exchanging their integrity for temporary validation, power, or personal gain. And here's the harsh truth. That trade never ends well. Your reputation has value. Whether they admit it or not, the people who slandered you saw something in you. Something they wanted to erase, control, or take credit for. Maybe it was your character, your influence, or the respect you had from others. But instead of building themselves up, they tried to steal your light by tarnishing your name. They thought that if they threw enough dirt on you, they would look cleaner by comparison. What they didn't realize is that mud doesn't just stain the target, it stains the hands that throw it too. Slander is a form of theft, and every theft creates a debt. The universe doesn't let that slide. When someone lies to destroy another person's credibility, they are taking something that isn't theirs to take. And the price for that? It always comes due. Sometimes it comes in the form of lost trust. Sometimes it shows up as a reputation so destroyed that even the truth can't save them. Sometimes it manifests as personal failure, watching the person they tried to ruin rise while they sink. There's also the sevenfold rule. When something is stolen, it must be returned 7 times over. So while they thought they were robbing you, what they actually did was set themselves up for a massive loss. Whatever false gain they received from their lies, attention, fake friendships, career advancements, will come crashing down. And when it does, it won't just be taken away. It will be taken away with interest. They may have won in the short term, but the long game belongs to truth. And when the dust settles, the only thing they'll have left is regret. Because no one who trades integrity for deception ever comes out ahead. The cost is always too high. And by the time they realize it, it's far too late. Number 4, the unseen witnesses. Even if no one believes you, the universe does. Lies can be loud, but truth has patience. It doesn't need to fight for attention or force its way into the spotlight. It waits, knowing that sooner or later everything hidden will be revealed. Even when it seems like no one believes you, even when it feels like the world is against you, there is a witness that never fails, the unseen forces that govern reality itself. People get away with deception temporarily because human vision is limited. People only see what is presented to them, what is manipulated, what is filtered. But beyond human perception, there is a record that never erases. Every word spoken, every action taken, every falsehood spread is logged into a system greater than human courts, greater than public opinion, greater than any damage control they can attempt. And that's where the real power of truth lies. It doesn't need permission to surface. It doesn't need an army to defend it. It moves silently, yet with absolute certainty. When the time is right, it will rise. And when it does, it won't need your help to prove itself. It will prove itself. That's why those who think they can slander, deceive, and manipulate without consequences are the most foolish of all. They rely on people's short attention spans, on the idea that if enough time passes, the lie becomes reality. But truth doesn't work like that. It's patient, not weak. And when it finally breaks through, it does so in ways no one can control. So if you've been lied on, betrayed, or falsely accused, understand this. It was never about whether people believed you. It was about when truth would make itself undeniable. It doesn't matter how much time passes. The universe doesn't forget. Reality will balance itself. And when it does, those who played with deception will have to face something far worse than public exposure. They will have to face the truth itself. Number 5. Time always vindicates the righteous, even if it takes years. Slander feels permanent in the moment. When false accusations spread, it can seem like the damage is irreversible, like your name will always be tied to a lie. But here's what history proves, time and time again. Truth has endurance, and lies have expiration dates. People love scandals, they love drama, they love tearing others down, but they also have short memories. The same people who believe lies today will either forget them or start questioning them as time passes. Reality has a way of correcting itself, and when it does, the truth doesn't just return. It comes back with force. Look at history. Some of the greatest names, leaders, visionaries, inventors, and revolutionaries were slandered, mocked, and falsely accused in their time. Some were labeled criminals. Some were treated as outcasts. Some had their reputations completely destroyed. But where are their accusers now? Forgotten. And where are they? Respected, revered. Their names outlived every lie spoken against them. That's the thing about time. It exposes everything. People who lie to destroy others rarely think long-term. They are focused on the immediate damage, the quick win, the momentary power of controlling a narrative. But they don't consider what happens when the dust settles. What happens when people look back and start asking questions? What happens when the evidence speaks for itself? What happens when the truth outlives the lie? The longer the lie lasts, the greater the impact when the truth finally emerges. A short-lived rumor might be forgotten, but a long-standing falsehood, when overturned, creates shockwaves. It turns the accusers into fools. It rewrites the narrative in favor of the one who was wronged, and it makes the truth unshakable. So if you've been slandered, don't waste time fighting for validation. Just keep walking in integrity. Because the liar's voices may be loud today, but they will be silent tomorrow. And when that day comes, the truth won't just clear your name, it will restore everything they tried to take. Number 6. Slander is an unpaid bill that will show up when they least expect it. People think they can outrun consequences. They assume that if they lie today and nothing happens tomorrow, they're in the clear. But what they don't realize is that justice operates on its own schedule. It doesn't knock first, it doesn't send a warning, it just shows up. Often when they're at their highest point, thinking they got away with everything. Slander isn't just a bad habit, it's a debt. Every false accusation, every twisted story, every attempt to ruin someone's name is a transaction, and like all debts, it must be repaid with interest. Some think they can ignore it, keep living as if nothing happened, and move forward. But the bill always arrives, and when it does, they never see it coming. Some will pay with their careers. Their lies will be exposed at the worst possible time, right when they need their reputation the most. Maybe they slandered you to gain status, to push themselves ahead. But in the end, false success never lasts. Eventually, the people they fooled start connecting the dots. The same manipulative tactics they used to climb will be the reason they fall. Others will pay with relationships. They may have convinced people to turn against you, but deception always breeds distrust. Over time, those same people will start questioning them. Their friendships will be surface level, their connections hollow, and one day they'll wake up alone. The betrayal they encouraged will return to them through different hands. And then there are those who think they escaped, those who believe time erased their wrongdoing. But justice isn't just personal, it can extend beyond them. Some will watch their own children struggle, trapped in the same cycle of deception they once fed. Some will witness everything they built crumble, not because of external forces, but because the foundation was rotten from the start. You don't have to chase justice. It's already in motion. The only question is when the debt will be collected, and for some that answer comes at the worst possible moment. Number 7. Slander is self-sabotage. What they do to you, they do to themselves. Slander feels like an attack on you, but in reality it's a trap for the one spreading it. When someone speaks lies, they think they're shaping your reputation. But what they're really shaping is their own future. Words have power, but that power doesn't move in one direction. What they put out eventually comes back. Here's the mistake they make. They assume their words only affect the people listening. They don't realize that every lie they tell is a seed planted in their own life. When they speak failure over you, they are aligning themselves with failure. When they say you're unworthy, they are placing unworthiness into their own experience. The reason? Because they are focusing on it. What people dwell on, whether in truth or deception, becomes their reality. When they constantly talk about tearing others down, they are actually feeding their mind with negativity, insecurity, and weakness. They are programming themselves to fail, because instead of building something for themselves, they are consumed with destruction. And destruction doesn't discriminate, it always circles back. Over time, you'll see it happen. Their opportunities start drying up, their relationships grow toxic, the same manipulation they used on others gets used on them. It's not karma in the abstract sense, it's a direct result of their own focus. They crafted their own downfall without even realizing it. Slander is self-sabotage because it rewires the liar's mindset. They become paranoid, always expecting betrayal. They become bitter because they are constantly fixated on negativity. And they become trapped because the same energy they used to destroy others starts to erode their own foundation. So while they thought they were ruining you, they were actually cursing themselves. They built the cage, locked the door, and threw away the key, without realizing they were the ones inside it all along. Number 8. People who lie about you are secretly terrified of you. Slander is never random. It's always rooted in fear. People don't waste time attacking someone they don't see as a threat. If they lied about you, if they went out of their way to twist the narrative, it's because something about you disturbed their sense of control. Here's the truth they'd never admit. Your presence exposed something weak in them. Maybe it was your confidence, your talent, your integrity, or simply the way others respected you. Instead of rising to meet your level, they chose the easier path, trying to pull you down. But their mistake is thinking that slander weakens power. It doesn't. If anything, it amplifies it. The more they talk about you, the more attention they give you. The more energy they spend trying to destroy your name, the more obsessed they become with you. Their fixation is proof that you have something they can't ignore. Slander is a defensive reaction. It's what insecure people do when they feel outmatched but don't want to admit it. Instead of improving themselves, they create a false reality where you are the problem, because it's easier to attack an external target than to confront their own shortcomings. But deep down, they know the truth. That's why they keep watching you, keep talking about you, keep trying to convince others of their version of reality. They need validation because even they don't fully believe their own lies. And here's the irony: their efforts backfire. Lies have a short lifespan, but influence doesn't. Over time, people see through the deception. The more they try to bring you down, the more obvious their insecurity becomes. Eventually, they don't just fail to destroy you, they end up exposing themselves. So if someone lied about you, understand this: they were never truly against you. They were running from their own fear. And in trying to erase your influence, they accidentally proved just how powerful you really are. Number 9. The ones who believed the lies will also pay the price. People love to pretend that only the liar is guilty, but what about the ones who listened, repeated, and ran with the falsehoods? What about the ones who turned their backs on you without a second thought? What they don't realize is that gullibility is a debt too, and it always gets collected. The moment someone chooses to believe and spread lies without question, they bind themselves to the deception. They inherit the same poison the liar was spewing, and whether they see it immediately or not, it will manifest in their own lives. Here's how it plays out. First, they invite betrayal into their own reality. By siding with lies, they unknowingly align themselves with people who lie. And people who lie, they don't have loyalty. The same way they help destroy your reputation, someone else will do the same to them. One day, they'll be the one being talked about, whispered about, discarded. And when that moment comes, they will remember what they did to you. Second, their own judgment starts failing them. The same blindness that made them believe the slander will affect other areas of their life. They'll trust the wrong people. They'll make poor decisions. They'll fall for more deception. Because when you accept a lie once, it becomes easier to accept the next one. Slowly, their entire reality becomes distorted, and by the time they wake up, they'll have no idea how they got there. And then the worst part, regret. There will come a moment when they realize what they lost. Maybe it's when they see you thriving. Maybe it's when the truth comes out. Maybe it's when they themselves are betrayed. But it will hit them. And when it does, they will wish they had questioned the lie before they destroyed something good. The lesson? Siding with deception always comes with a cost. And those who thought they were safe just because they weren't the ones telling the lies, they're about to learn that silence too has consequences. Number 10. The more they attack, the more you are elevated. Slander is a weapon, but it's a faulty one. The more they use it, the more it backfires. They think they're burying you, but they're actually elevating you. They think they're silencing you, but they're amplifying your name. What they fail to understand is that lies don't destroy the truth. They highlight it. Every time someone spreads falsehoods about you, they create curiosity. People start paying attention. They start questioning. They start wondering, why are they so obsessed with tearing this person down? Some will dig deeper, some will notice the inconsistencies, and some, even if they believed the lies at first, will end up on your side once the truth starts shining through. And then there's the paradox they never see coming. Your trials become your transformation. When you're lied on, you're forced to grow. You learn who is real and who is fake. You develop resilience. You sharpen your character. You gain a level of wisdom that can't be taught in comfort. What they meant for harm actually refines you, making you stronger, sharper, and more unshakable than before. Meanwhile, they don't get stronger. They get exposed. Over time, their obsession with you makes them look bitter, desperate, and untrustworthy. Their credibility erodes while yours, despite the attacks, remains intact. People start seeing them as the problem. The very lies they spread turn into the trap that catches them. And that's why slander never truly succeeds. It may cause temporary damage, but in the long run, it accelerates the rise of the one being attacked. Because when people try to destroy something that's built on truth, all they end up doing is proving how solid it really is. Number 11. They will watch you succeed while their own world crumbles. The cruelest punishment for those who tried to destroy you isn't revenge, it's your success. Not just any success, but the kind that makes their lies look ridiculous. The kind that forces them to sit in the wreckage of their own deceit while you rise beyond their reach. They slandered you because they thought they had control over your story. They thought they could dictate how others saw you, how you saw yourself, and ultimately, how your life would unfold. But the truth has a way of making its own path, regardless of their interference. And when it does, their entire effort collapses. There will come a moment when they realize that nothing they did worked. You didn't break, you didn't stay down. You didn't crumble under the weight of their lies. Instead, you outgrew them. You outgrew the narrative they tried to trap you in. You became so successful, so undeniable, so unshakably real that their words became meaningless. And while you rise, their world starts to fall apart. Maybe it happens slowly, like a series of missed opportunities and failed relationships. Maybe it happens all at once, like a scandal that exposes them for who they really are. Either way, they will feel it. They will see everything they tried to take from you come back to you sevenfold. They will watch as their influence fades while yours expands. The best part? You won't even have to acknowledge them. Your success will do all the talking. Their lies won't need refuting because the evidence of your life will make their words laughable. The people who once doubted you will see the truth for themselves, and the ones who betrayed you will be left with nothing but regret. That's the highest form of justice. Not revenge, not retaliation, but flourishing in a way they can't touch. Because at the end of the day, the greatest defeat for an enemy is realizing they never had power over you to begin with. Number 12. They won the battle but lost the war. Winning a battle means nothing if you lose the war. That's the mistake slanderers always make. They think that because their lies worked in the short term, because people believed them, because they damaged your reputation, because they got what they wanted, that they've won. But what they don't realize is that a false victory is more dangerous than failure. It gives them a sense of security right before reality hits. Lies always have an expiration date. The truth may take its time, but it never stays buried. And when it finally rises, it doesn't just expose them, it erases everything they built on deception. They may have convinced people to turn against you, but when the truth comes out, those same people will turn against them. They may have secured a position by tearing you down, but when their character is revealed, they will lose it in a way they can't recover from. The worst part? By the time they realize they've lost, it's too late. They've burned bridges they can't rebuild. They've built a reputation of dishonesty that follows them. The people they manipulated will remember how easily they switched up and will never fully trust them again. And all the energy they spent trying to ruin you, it ends up ruining them instead. Meanwhile, you've been growing, you've been healing, you've been becoming something stronger, wiser, and more untouchable than before. And by the time they see that their temporary win was actually their greatest mistake, you will have already moved so far ahead that they can't even reach you anymore. So let them think they've won. Let them celebrate their little victory. Because what they don't realize is that the war was never about who could deceive the fastest. It was about who could stand the longest. And in the end, that's a battle they were never built to survive. Number 13. The betrayers always turn on each other. The people who betrayed you, who laughed at your downfall, who stood together in their lies, they will not last. Betrayal is not a bond. It's a ticking time bomb. And the ones who once conspired against you will eventually turn their knives on each other. Why? Because loyalty cannot exist where deceit is the foundation. When people come together through slander, their alliance is built on mutual selfishness. They didn't unite because they cared about each other. They united because they had a common enemy. You. But what happens when you're no longer there to focus on? They turn inward. At first, they'll try to keep the illusion going. They'll pretend they're still solid, still in control. But over time, paranoia creeps in. The same way they backstabbed you, they start wondering, who's next? They begin to question each other's loyalty. They start whispering behind closed doors, accusing, suspecting, waiting for the inevitable betrayal. And it always comes. One by one, their alliance collapses. Someone will break first. Maybe they get caught in their own lies. Maybe they try to throw someone else under the bus to save themselves. Maybe they realize they were being used all along. Whatever the reason, the destruction will begin from the inside. And the ones who once laughed at your misfortune, they will now be fighting for survival against the very people they once trusted. This is the curse of deception. It destroys its own creators. Betrayers cannot help but betray. It's in their nature. They thought they were playing a game, but they forgot one simple rule. If you build your kingdom on lies, you will eventually be buried under its ruins. So don't waste energy seeking revenge, just wait. Because the same people who work together to bring you down will be the ones who bring down each other. And when that day comes, all you'll have to do is watch. Number 14. You don't have to defend yourself. Your silence is a loaded gun. Silence isn't weakness. It's a loaded gun. When someone slanders you, they expect a reaction. They want you to defend yourself, to fight back, to get caught in the mess they created. But when you refuse to play their game, they unravel on their own. The truth doesn't need you to wrestle for it. It defends itself. Lies are fragile things. They need constant maintenance, endless reinforcement, and repeated manipulation to survive. The moment you refuse to engage, you force the liar to carry the weight of their own deception. And the longer they carry it, the heavier it gets. Strategic silence is not about letting people walk over you. It's about letting them expose themselves. A person who fabricates stories must keep adjusting their narrative, especially when the target refuses to give them anything to work with. Eventually, their own contradictions pile up. Their desperation to make the lie stick leads to sloppiness. People start noticing the holes. The ones who blindly believed at first begin to doubt. And soon the slanderer finds themselves in the very trap they set for you. Meanwhile, you're flourishing. And that is the loudest response possible. You're proving, without a single word, that their lies held no power, that the reality of who you are is stronger than the illusion they tried to create. Nothing destroys deception faster than undeniable success. When you remain silent, you don't just preserve your dignity, you weaponize it. You force your enemies to fight shadows, to swing wildly at ghosts, to exhaust themselves trying to destroy something they can't even reach. And when the dust settles, you're still standing, stronger, untouched, unbothered. That is the ultimate revenge, not words, not retaliation, but rising so high that their lies fade into irrelevance. At the end of the day, the truth is undefeated. Lies may cause temporary damage, but they are like sandcastles, fragile, unstable, and destined to collapse. Those who slander you think they are winning, but in reality, they are setting fire to their own future. Everything done in darkness must come to light. The betrayers will turn on each other. The ones who believed the lies will suffer the consequences. And those who built their power on deception will watch it crumble beneath them. Meanwhile, you will rise, not just in spite of their attacks, but because of them. Your integrity has already secured your victory. The more they lie, the stronger your truth becomes. The more they try to bury you, the higher you rise. And when the dust settles, you won't just survive, you will thrive beyond recognition. You will become so successful, so undeniable, so untouchable that their names will be forgotten while yours continues to echo. The beauty of divine justice is that you don't have to chase it. It has perfect timing. All you have to do is keep walking in truth, keep focusing on your purpose, and let life handle the rest. So let them talk, let them plot, let them believe for a brief moment that they've won, because soon they will realize the truth they feared all along. You were never the one who needed saving. They were. If this message spoke to you, if you know deep down that truth always wins, that justice is inevitable, and that no lie can stop what's meant for you, then let's keep this energy going. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss another powerful message. Like this video if you're claiming victory over every lie spoken against you. Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Have you ever seen justice unfold in ways you didn't expect? Let's talk about it. And most importantly, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's been battling false accusations, betrayal, or slander. Let them know their story isn't over. The truth is working in their favor, and their success will be louder than the lies.